Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is DafubFilm&TV, and I have just watched episode 1 of Genv, the new spin off series from The Boys. And so, without further ado, this is my review of said episode. Spoiler warnings ahead. And what do I think? The point of comparison or points of comparison that I could make has been basically the content that I've been looking at and reviewing recently for this YouTube channel, which is basically the stuff put out by Disney Plus, which basically means MCU content and Star Wars content. Compared to this first episode is better put together, better made, better written, better shot than certainly anything in the entirety of Secret Invasion, which is one of the worst, probably the worst thing I've seen so far come out of Disney Plus. With the crucial note that I haven't seen Moon Knight. Maybe there's another Disney MCU show I haven't seen, but to my mind, I only haven't seen Moon Knight. I can't remember any others that I didn't bother watching. And compared to Secret Invasion, this first episode, again, across the board, is better than anything you saw in Secret Invasion. And it's also correspondingly better in pretty much every regard than so what we've seen so far. In other words, 7 out of the 8 episodes out of Ahsoka, which has 1 episode to go, which we will see next week. This is vastly better written, and it's not just a question of this is R-rated content so they can swear and deal with adult situations that because again, in relation to Star Wars, that's completely irrelevant because Star Wars has never dealt with adult situations and has never been kind of as gory or violent in cinematic or streaming form or animated form as this is. It's just so much better written. The dialogue is so much better, and there's just more of it. There's comparative little dialogue in Ahsoka, and just the overall story or how everything's put together. And it's the first episode, and it's only, how long is this episode? This episode is a grand total of, let's just see here. I checked through the settings. It is a grand total of 58 minutes long. It's almost an hour long, which for the kind of the first episode / pilot of a show is not to be unexpected. But I would imagine your typical episode is going to be, somewhere between 45 to 50 minutes long. There's none of this. We're not going to see any of this ridiculous, barely 30 minutes, including credits and previously on sequence at the beginning, like we've been seeing out of multiple both MCU and particularly Star Wars shows that have been put on Disney Plus. Just the base bones, which is the writing, is just so, and dialogue is just is so much better than what we've seen out of Disney. With the possible exception of Andor, though Andor is a bit slow to get going. This episode gets off the line much, in my view, much quicker than Andor did. Credit where credit is due. Like Andor, there's a lot of location shooting. And if they are shooting on sets and places, I'm sure they are, it just looks much better put together than even Secret Invasion. And I thought Secret Invasion's kind of sets were, good enough. Although when I wrote, said that, in various reviews of Secret Invasion, I didn't know it was costing $200 million to make. This is, again, like, it's just like the lighting is really good, like the cinematography is good, the location shooting is great. It's just so much better than what we're getting out of Disney. And I don't understand. I mean, Amazon is a bigger company than Disney, at least I think it is. But I believe Amazon's margins as a whole overall would be much, much narrower. It's a kind of a high volume, low margin for the most part e-tailer, as far as I'm aware. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Although admittedly they do have kind of a cloud services, which I think is making them a huge chunk of their profit at this point. Cloud services / data center and so on. Maybe they're also doing AI. I assume they're doing that as well. But outside of that, like it's it really kind of puts into very, what's the term to use? It makes it very, very clear, very, very quickly if you watch this, and you I literally just watched this first episode, and I'm now giving you my opinion on it straight off the cuff as always. And this is so much better than what we've gotten out of Ahsoka, so much better than what we've gotten out of Secret Invasion or Mandalorian Season 3 or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Just the quality of the writing. The quality of the writing isn't there in those shows, and it's nowhere near as good as this. And I've only watched one episode. Now things could go downhill over episode 2 and 3, which were released at the same time as this, which I haven't watched yet. But this is so much better. It really, really is. And again, considering how much they were spending on Secret Invasion, this can't be down to, production spend. And yeah, there's a lot of kind of, there's some lewdness in various bits of it, a lot of gore and violence, compared to the Disney Plus content. But that's not the driver of the quality gap. It's the writing. And it's quite possible the actors in Ahsoka, particularly the 3 principal actresses, may be up to to do the kind of level of acting and performance you see in this one episode, but they just don't have the writing. They just don't have the writing at all to enable them to do that. The writing isn't there. The dialogue in Ahsoka, both in terms of quality and quantity, considering the runtime of each episode or the show overall, isn't there. Yeah, you've got a lot of kind of CGI stuff, and why has Disney become obsessed with using the volume no matter what? I mean, is it really, if they're spending $200 million on Secret Invasion, they're not, they're spending their money wrong, and the volume is clearly not saving them enough money to justify the compromises that are used in terms of actual production and perceived production quality by shooting in the volume rather than shooting on location. I mean, it really shows in Andor. Andor was, in terms of any kind of live action sequence, was demonstrably higher quality because of the location shooting than anything we've seen from Star Wars since then, or from, again, the MCU shows that I've watched since then. I think Loki Season 2 is coming up soon, and I'll review that. And the trailers for that do look promising. But this is well ahead of what Disney is putting out and has put out over the last year or two. And yeah, to a degree, you could blame that on COVID, but this show was made. It must have been made during COVID or not long after it. So, what's Disney's excuse? The writers, like Filoni is apparently the only writer on the show. I think he needs help. I think he needs a writing team, or maybe just a combination of that and just more time to get used to writing for live action. And if he's not, if he's not up to the job, then he needs to maybe do more of an executive producer role and leave the writing to somebody else. But it's not just a question of this; it's a question of Mandalorian Season 3, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi. They were all in various ways badly written and or badly shot and choreographed and or badly directed. And so the quality on Disney's part is really, really poor, and they really need to do something about it. How long that will take and how long it'll take them to do a turnaround, I honestly don't know. But this is, even in its first episode, this is leaps and bounds, irrespective of kind of the adult, mature content. This is leaps and bounds ahead of anything that Disney has come up with, that I've seen anyway, in the last 2 years, maybe even more than that at this point. And if you're talking about long-term survival and prosperity of Disney Plus and competition in the marketplace, Bob Iger is going to need to fix this quick. And I'd say there's a lot, either the people they're putting on the writing teams or what they're doing with the scripts once they're presented to them, once they're done, they're just not they're just not putting in the kind of quality that they really should. Now, in terms of, again, not comparing it to the just reviewing it in of itself, the cast is very good. Again, how they compare to, I've already said this, how they compare to the cast in Ahsoka is a bit difficult to tell, because the Ahsoka cast have just got a much weaker script and dialogue to work with. One could also say that it's down to a degree of quality of direction as well. They're clearly, we could be looking at a decidedly mediocre cast that have got a great script to work with and very good direction, versus a very good cast with a terrible script and very mediocre direction in the case of Ahsoka and the other Disney shows. That might explain it. But they're clearly, Disney is clearly making, the wrong decisions in terms of who they're getting to write, what scripts that they're accepting once they've been written. They appear to be imposing nowhere near the level of quality control they need to produce high quality appointment television or appointment, streaming television shows. And yeah, it's just so much better made across the board. I don't know if there really are any spoilers in this. We have a main female lead protagonist who's very well done. She appears to originate from the orphans home for soup kids that we've seen in the Boys previously. I think it was the last season of the Boys. Yeah, that was in, or was it the season before that? I can't remember actually, yeah, it wasn't the last season. It was the previous season we saw that, I think. But where she's had a somewhat troubled background. In other words, her powers came at her by surprise, and she accidentally killed her parents. Again, spoiler warning. And we go on for there. The one area where you might be retreading kind of old ground is, it's been long being a thing in the Boys, where a lot of the kind of the supers are kind of the worst personification of stereotypes, kind of Hollywood celebrities. In other words, they're drug fiends, sex fiends, massive egos, get normies killed on a regular basis, and Vought spends, or maimed, and Vought spends an awful lot of its time basically just covering up their indiscretions as if they were actors and actresses in kind of 1950s studio system Hollywood, where the studios, would cover up for the stars' misbehavior. This is a kind of rerun with that of the cool kids in this college university setting where this show is set. The same kind of thing, which is, in a way, a bit of a retread, but you could also argue, well, this is an institution that produces the people who end up to become these kind of celebrity monsters with superpowers you see in the main show, The Boys. So that's so we're getting the view of where it all begins and how it all begins and so on, which is is interesting. But it's just so well made and put together compared to what Disney is doing. It's just like there's no comparison. And I've just watched one episode. I'd be deeply, deeply shocked if the quality dropped over the next 2 episodes to level the playing field with any of the Star Wars content they've come up with the last couple of years. The people who wrote this or created this certainly understand or know the IP, which one could argue that, so that a lot of hardcore Star Wars fans would argue that a lot of the people at Lucasfilm don't understand the Star Wars IP at all, and are just doing, surface level pastiches of it over and over and over again because they don't know or understand any more than that. Anyway, again, I don't want to keep repeating myself. Much better than what we've seen out of Ahsoka. Vastly better than Secret Invasion. Vastly better than the previous couple of Star Wars shows. If you are willing and able to watch R-rated content that will include at least some nudity, then and a lot of gore, then this should be absolutely up your street. And even if they stripped away the nudity, the gore, the swearing, it would still be much better put together, much better written, than with much better performances than what you're getting out of Disney Plus. And if Disney Plus really wants to play with the big boys, and that means Netflix, and it could mean Amazon if their TV streaming service continues to grow and grow, Apple as well, Paramount Plus, HBO, what was HBO Max. I'm not sure what it's called now. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me know in the comments below. But if they really want to compete long term, do they need to do gore and violence? No. But they do need to improve the overall quality, principally of the writing. They really, really do. Anyhow, this is DafubFilm&TV. If for some strange reason you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it. Please like the video. If you haven't already liked it, please ring the bell for notifications when I upload new content. And again, to help me with the algorithm, like the video, and please repeatedly comment in the comment section below. Give me feedback, suggestions of what else you'd like me to look at and review, and what you liked and didn't like about the episode once you've seen it. Put a spoiler warning in before you put in your comments before you do that. And again, the algorithm likes, what's the word for it? They like you paying attention and showing you're paying attention by liking the video and commenting and commenting and commenting. So please do so to encourage me to make more content like this going into the future. This is DafubFilm&TV signing off. Toodaloo.